Assalamu alaikum students and welcome back to new session. In the earlier video, we have seen about one situation of credit. Means people take credit when they are in need, when they need money, right? So one case study we have seen earlier, that is about Salim, a shoe manufacturer. In that case, he was needed money, capital for production of shoes, and he managed from different sources. And in that case, credit plays a role, vital and important role here, positive role in situation of selling. But not always credit plays positive role. Sometimes negative and painful. Right? Let's see the second story of a small farmer named Swapna. So festival season became like a celebration for Salim, but for Swapna, situation is different. Let us see. Swapna, a small farmer, grows groundnut on her 3 acres of land. 3 acres of land, of course, small piece of land. And she grows groundnut. So basically, she is a small farmer. And problems about small farmers we know already. We have seen in the chapter of geography, agriculture. Right? I think you have idea about the conditions of small farmers. So here one case study of small farmer. She takes loan from money lenders to meet the expenses of cultivation. For cultivation, various expenses to be paid: fertilizers, seeds, pesticides, equipment repairing, etc. She is a small farm, poor, so she doesn't have savings. She doesn't have capital, but expenses are there, so money is required for that. So, of course, she takes loan from local money lenders. So, midway through the season, the crop is hit by pests and the crop fails. Here, during the crop season, pests, you know, right? So due to attack of pests, the crop fails. Though Sapna sprays her crops with expensive pesticides, it makes little difference, but couldn't save the entire crops. She is unable to repay the money lender, and debt grows over the year into large amount. Generally, she takes loan from money lenders, borrow from money lenders, right? Because there is a small gap when she sows the seeds and harvests, right? So, on the promise of future repayment. Earlier, we have seen about the credit, that is, credit is supply of goods, services, or money, right? With the promise of repay in the future. So she promised to repay in the future, means once the crop harvested, then she would pay. But she failed because crop failed. Now unable to pay, so the interest, due to interest, that small amount became the large amount. So next year she has to take loan again because she doesn't have money. So she is unable to repay the money lender, and the debt grows over the year into a large amount. Next year, Swapna takes fresh loan for cultivation. Again, next year she takes fresh loan for the cultivation because, as usual, she doesn't have capital, she doesn't have money. So for the expenses, she takes loan again, but previous loan not yet paid. that loan to be paid. But how to pay? So she expected that more profit from the crops and she would pay. But at that year, situation was normal and she got normal production, not enough to pay the previous loan. Only she was able to pay the current loan. So earnings are not enough to cover the old loan. So she caught in debt. In earlier situation, we have seen that shoe manufacturer and entrepreneur was able to pay loan because he earned enough, right? Because he had an order of 3,000 pairs of shoes and he finished the order and he earned fair amount, good amount. But here in this condition, the first year crop failed and the second year earning was not enough to pay the previous loan, so she ultimately caught in debt. So she has to sell land. How to pay the loan? Because if not paid, then day by day, month by month, and year by year, the amount increasing. Small amount becomes the larger and larger. So she has to pay it as soon as possible. So she has to sell a part of land to pay off the debt. So for her, this is the painful condition. So yes, credit plays a positive and vital role in economics, but not always, right? Because mainly in rural area, if we talk about, the main demand for credit is for crop production. Sad news like farmers commit suicide, one of the burning issues in India, in Indian territory. Every year, number of farmers commit suicide. Why? Because they're tired of their life. Not exactly this reason. Reason is economical. Similar condition like Swapna. But for Swapna, somehow the condition is better because still she had land to sell. She sold the land and repaid. But not all the farmers are lucky like her. Because Indian farmers, those are small farmers. They don't have capital. Small farmers means not in size, I am talking about the size of the land. Right? So, small size of land, they cultivate. And sometimes the land owned by them, that is very small and sometimes they own nothing. They don't have land. But they take land on rent. So, they had to pay rent because crop production involves considerable cost for many of the farmers. First of all, rent. Second, seeds, pesticides and weedicides, right? Maintenance of equipment, sometimes labor, right? And other minor expenses as well. So it's like of investment. Cultivation of crops, that is of course investment. So for investment, capital is required and those farmers are small farmers and they are poor, they don't have anything. So ultimately they have to take loan from where? Generally they have to take loan from money lenders because banks are not ready to pay them. Why so? Those are the many reasons behind that we'll discuss in upcoming topic. So they have to take loan from the money lenders, right? So there is a minimum stretch of 3 or 4 months where when those farmers actually need capital. So during this season they take loan from the money lenders. Sometimes they take loan like in form of money. Sometimes they take various things like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, right? They take in form of credit with the promise of future repayment. So those farmers generally expect that after harvesting they would earn enough and repay the credit. but not always the success. So between 3 or 4 months of time, when the farmers need to expense for various inputs, and one more time, that is the selling of their crops. So farmers usually take crop loans at the beginning of the season and repay the loan after harvest. After the sale of their crops, they try to repay. So repayment of loan is crucially depend on the income of farmers. If their crop success, then better for them, benefits for them, profitable to them. But if in case crop failure, because crop fails due to various reasons, one of the most common reason in India, that is like weather conditions, attack of pests and insects, right? So those are the common reasons are responsible. So in Swapna's case, the failure of crop made loan repayment impossible because crops fail, and after sale of his crop, he doesn't have money to repay the loan. So she had to sell part of land to repay the loan. Credit, instead of helping Swapna's better off, instead of improve her earning, left her off in worsened condition. This is an example of what commonly called debt trap. So mostly poor people, and in case of India, mostly farmers are caught in grasp of debt or debt trap. So credit in this case pushes borrower into situation which recovery is very painful. In earlier condition of selling an entrepreneur, that condition led to credit leads to better off, here worse off. So in one situation, credit helps to increase earning, and therefore the person better off than before, right? Selling. In another situation, because of crop failure, credit pushes the person into debt trap. So to repay her loan, she had to sell her land. She is clearly much worse off than before. She was expected to earn more. She took loan from the money lenders and invested. She expected that harvest of crop would give her some good amount of earning. Rather, here left her worse off. So whether credit would be useful or not, therefore depends on the risk in the situation and whether there is support in case of loss, right? So here two situations of credit. So let's discuss about credit further. Let's try to understand it. When we go for credit, earlier I mentioned here just a few minutes ago that banks are not ready to give small farmers, ready to give credit to small farmers. Why so? Because credit is not like, okay, just take it. You need money, you take. It's not like that. There are certain conditions. Let's discuss about terms of credit. So, as we have seen that credit is agreement first of all. So, agreement includes some terms. So, this agreement specifies first of all interest rate. Most of the conditions. When we take credit, when we take loan, we have to pay some extra amount. Extra amount is fixed on the rate, that is called interest rate. So, interest rate in which borrower must pay to lender along with the principal amount, right? That is first condition. Second, in addition, lenders may demand some collateral security against the loan. Means, if you go to bank and you demand that I need loan of 1 lakh rupees, I want to buy a two-wheeler. So do you think this bank will give, okay, 10 lakh rupees into your account, you enjoy, take your two-wheeler, buy your two-wheeler. Is it like that? What if you fail to repay? Some guarantee, some security is required, right? So first of all, banks, they check your income. That is common, right? If you are not earning, then definitely bank will not give you loan. I am earning, definitely if I need loan, bank will give me very easily, right? But if much amount of loan, if huge amount of loan I need, in that case, bank will ask me security, collateral. That is called collateral. So what is collateral? So collateral is an asset, property that the borrower owns. So collateral is an asset. Asset means something, property that owned by someone, right? So collateral is an asset that the borrower owns, such as land, building, vehicle, livestock, gold, bank deposits, etc. So those are assets, right? And uses this as a guarantee. So those assets uses as guarantee to a lender until the loan is repaid. So if you want to take loan, bank asks you guarantee, some kind of assets, and bank gives those assets with it. Gives means like just documents they give. Like if you need to buy a vehicle, documents of vehicle that owned by bank. You are not the fully owner of the vehicle until you repay the loan. You cannot sell the vehicle until you repay the loan, right? So that your vehicle's document banks use as guarantee. If you fail to repay, bank can recover by selling that vehicle. And so this collateral, so I am going to define it again. Collateral is an asset that the borrower owns and uses as a guarantee to a lender until the loan is repaid. So if I am borrower, if you are borrower, we use our assets to the lender generally banks, right? So lenders take our assets as security, guarantee, right? So if the borrower fails to repay, the lender has the right to sell the asset, collateral, to obtain payment. So if you have heard those debt collectors, these people come right from banks, from financial organization. If someone fail to repay the loan of vehicle, then they come to take their vehicle back. So because that vehicle has collateral, and if someone fails to repay the credit loan, the borrower has right to sell their assets and collect the payment, right? So properties such as land title, deposits with bank, livestock, vehicles, gold, etc. are some example of collaterals used by those borrowers and lenders to borrow money for credit. So again, collateral is an asset owned by the borrower and uses this as guarantee to a lender until the loan is repaid. So this is about collateral. So two conditions we have seen in terms of credit. First of all, interest rate, and the second one, collateral. Apart from collateral and interest rate, documents are required, as well as they agree upon the duration of credit, months, years, as well as mode of repayment. Mode of repayment, pay the full amount at once or pay in installment, that is called mode of repayment. So on those conditions, borrower and lenders both agreed upon. They may vary depending on nature of lender and the borrowers, because those terms of credit are different. They may vary. The next in next video we will discuss about different conditions, nature of lender, right, and type of credit. With the study of different case studies, we'll try to understand this nature of credit, varieties of credit, what we call. Alright, so see you in the next video. Thank you.